The movie starts with a foster family, Alice and Ted Gibbs, getting a new daughter named Becky. But she's not alone, she has her dog, Diego. That night, at dinner, Ted is bragging about their decision to move into a top-tier school district just to become good parents for their foster kid, in this case, Becky. She can't wait to get started in school, and they have already planned that because they know someone who can get her in easily. Becky knows just how to make them like her, and they fall for charm very easily, thinking they have gotten the perfect child. Alice later takes her to bed, and Becky calls her mum, which is very exciting to Alice. As soon as she's alone, Becky gets out of bed and jumps out of the window after arranging the letters above her bed to spell bye. Becky's parents were murdered by neo-Nazis 2 years ago, in a break-in when they came looking for some weird key that Becky still has with her. She killed all of them, and now that she's 16, she's been running away from her foster homes because she doesn't want to be registered into the system. She trains herself in the woods because she doesn't know what might be coming after her. She sometimes falls into her traps though. Becky lives with an old lady named Elena. She doesn't know much about her, but they get along and live together after Elena picks her up on the road. She makes fun of Becky while having breakfast for falling into her trap. Elena is worried about Becky's sleeping because she remembers her parents' murder too vividly. Elena makes Becky say 3 things that she's grateful for, so she doesn't let go of the good things in life like Diego and simple things like being here for another day. Becky works as a waitress in a local diner, and she doesn't like taking back talk from the customers and even imagines killing them when they say stupid things to her. She takes her lunches outside and waits for the exact time to clock out. Back home, Becky and Elena play Scrabble, when Elena remarks that there is a lot to know about a person by playing games like this because they reveal their character. Elena has 4 brothers that died except one that she used to play Scrabble with. Elena never asked where Becky came from because she takes care of a lot of things and even brings in money. Elena understands because she also left home at 15 and knows it takes a lot to survive alone as a teenager. On the radio, they hear about a neo-Nazi group that might move into a town called the Noble Men. These men fly their flags on their trucks as they drive into town and stop by Becky's diner. They make snide remarks about her mom, so she just finds them a table. They are here for a rally and ask Becky for coffee in a disrespectful way. She brings it to them, but as she sets them down, she spills the scalding hot coffee on Anthony. She pretends that she did it on purpose, and as he gets annoyed and shouts at her, she goes to get him a towel. It's time for her shift to end, and as she is leaving, the 3 men are in their trucks discussing what to do. Anthony still thinks she did it on purpose, despite them telling him to let it go, so they decide to kill her. That night, Becky was in bed when she heard someone breaking in, so she went downstairs to check it out. She walks around slowly, but suddenly gets grabbed by Anthony from the back. Diego starts barking, and as she gets free, comes to attack but gets hit by DJ, who points a gun at her face. Sean comes in and is shocked by the level of violence that happened in mere seconds. They were about to take her when Elena came in with a shotgun, and she was not playing around. DJ slowly puts his gun down, but Anthony pulls out a gun and shoots her in the head. Becky can't help but be taken back to the murder of her parents in a similar way, and she loses it, but she gets knocked out. Becky wakes up on the floor and is devastated by the death of Elena, which reminds her of the death of her dad. She realizes that Diego isn't here either because he's been taken by the gang. As they got out of their truck, Sean was scared of them being caught, so Anthony had to threaten him to keep him quiet. Becky, meanwhile, finds more of Elena's stuff in a wooden box like a ring and old pictures. She has buried Elena now and thanks her for giving her a place to stay. She is going to avenge Elena and find Diego. She goes to the shed and collects anything she might need for her plans to kill the bad guys. She also gets herself ready with a jacket and knife. She leaves to look for Daryl, someone the guys are looking for. She finds an address and gets to one house where she finds an old woman named Daryl, a smoking woman who needs oxygen. So she goes to the other location and she confirms this is the right location after seeing the flag. The cabin is across the lake, so she goes to find another way. Daryl is saying grace while surrounded by the guys for the food, and to prepare for the rally, they are going to take part in the next day. They thank the guy named Twig for cooking this delicious meal. They talk about how females are ruining society when Daryl realizes that Sean hasn't touched his food. They hear Diego rattling his cage, so Daryl goes to check, but they pretend it's their dog. But they don't notice that Becky is watching them from the glass door. Sean excuses himself from the table, so Daryl follows him. Meanwhile, Becky sneaks around the back and enters through a window. She finds a picture of a woman with a target on her head on a mannequin named Senator Hernandez. She then sees all the plans they have laid out and takes a picture. Sean just got out of the bathroom when he sees Daryl, who takes him to where Becky is taking the pictures. They get into the room and he asks Sean about his decision to become a member of the Noblemen while Becky is hiding under the bed. Daryl then shows him a list of the thousands of of people who are members. Daryl then tells him that he's a member of the military, but then he tells Sean about a story of him assaulting a woman and got ambushed and ended up killing a child too, but he somehow enjoyed it. Daryl doesn't want Sean to be a weak link like the kid. Daryl almost spots Becky, but gets called so he walks out, giving her time to check the laptop and find the list of the neo-Nazis, so she takes the flash drive. Becky makes it to a barn and finds all sorts of crazy weapons. She decides to check upstairs, and that's where she finds a big pack of guns and grenades. The men were having a drink when they heard a doorbell ringing. Daryl gets up to open, but doesn't find anyone at the door. That's when he finds a ringing phone on the ground and chooses not to answer. Just bring it inside and show the others that Becky is the one who called them. Sean then lets it slip that they know Becky and Daryl asks, and despite them trying to keep it quiet, DJ tries to tell them a fake story. Sean still exposes them, but they still avoid talking about the murder. The phone rings again, and they answer it, and Becky starts singing some nursery rhyme, freaking out the guys. Twig and Anthony quickly get into an argument when Daryl breaks it up and tells them to go find her and give her back her dog. Anthony volunteers to go find her, but leaves without the dog. Outside, he is shouting, trying to find her, but she just tells him to find her, and he follows her into the forest. But when she doesn't stop, he pulls a gun, making her stop. He was about to kill her in another way when he fell into her trap. She then picks up his gun, and he instantly becomes cooperative. He is terrified of her now because she has a grenade in her hand. Inside, Twig is playing his banjo and singing a racist song, while Becky is setting another trap. They get another knock on the door, and Daryl goes to answer it. He sees Anthony duck-tapped, and when he opens the door, he pulls the pin to the grenade that's in Anthony's mouth, and his head explodes. The others quickly run out to find a dead Anthony. Twig thinks of calling the cops, but they have a lot of guns, so it's not a great idea. Daryl then pulls out a gun and asks DJ and Sean to tell the truth, so they quickly come clean about killing Elena and taking the dog. Sean then realizes that the rally isn't just going to be a peaceful protest. Just when he is about to leave, Daryl asks him to stay the night, but he doesn't care anymore, so Daryl just punches him out and snaps his neck, killing him. He then makes his way to DJ to make sure he is down with the cause, but DJ is all in for the rally. They then get a call from Becky again. Daryl answers it, and as he tries to intimidate her, she mentions she knows about their plans to attack Town Hall while she loads her crossbow. He wants to kill the dog, but she will send the documents to the cops if he does, so Twig just goes out himself to take care of her. But when Daryl finds out she has his flash drive, he goes to check, but she has already shot Twig through the cheeks. He runs back inside, and DJ drops to the ground and crawls to hide as Daryl pulls out the arrow. Twig goes back out in anger and starts to chase her through the woods, and she ends up in the barn. He tries to shoot her, and meanwhile, Daryl tells DJ to go stop Twig from killing her because she has the list. After getting orders from Daryl, DJ runs out and gets in his truck to get away. Twig finds Becky and tries to shoot her, but when he misses, he locks the door behind him, trapping her with him. She then throws a tear gas grenade at him, essentially making him blind and forcing him to crawl out. But when he turns around, Becky comes out with a massive tractor, but that was just her imagination. She just comes out with a giant machete, and Twig apologizes and exposes himself as weak and begs her to not kill him since he has a wife and son. And when she hears the kid is named Adolf, she just snaps and tears him to pieces. That's when she gets hit by a dart and passes out. Becky wakes up tied to a chair, with Daryl sitting in front of her. She is glad to see Diego, but she can't escape. Daryl has found her bag and appreciates her level of preparedness. He also found her key, which has coordinates inside it. That's when Daryl Sr., the old woman, walks in because she is the mastermind of this whole group. Daryl Sr. needs that flash drive, but Becky is not going to tell her. That's when Daryl Sr. threatens her with letting Daryl assault her, but Becky just spits at her. Daryl Sr. likes that and even tries to recruit her. When Becky says no, they bring out the dog that Daryl Sr. has gotten along with by now. Daryl is about to kill Diego, so Becky begs them to stop. Daryl Sr. is going to kill Diego unless Becky gives up the flash drive, so she agrees to tell them on one condition. As they wait for her to tell them the condition, she is already out of the ropes and kicks Daryl gets to her pepper spray and shoots Daryl with it. But as she gets out of the ropes, Daryl Sr. points a gun at her, but since she knows the location of the drive, she is about to shoot the dog when Becky hits her with a knife in the head. Becky makes sure Diego is okay and runs out before Daryl comes in to see what she did to his mom and goes to find her and kill her. Becky is running through the woods as Daryl chases her while shooting until he runs out of bullets. She then finds the spot that she marked and stops. He catches up to her but steps in a bear trap twice and catches another with his head when he falls. As he dies, Becky just leaves him there to get her dog out of the cage. Turns out Daryl Sr. is still alive but can't aim straight because of the knife in her brain. So Becky sends Diego to attack Daryl Sr. until she dies. As the movie ends, Becky tells the CIA about everything with the neo-Nazis in return for clearing her name of any crime she committed. She even gets recruited by the CIA as a spy. And with that, the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for amazing videos. See you in the next one.